Is it recording? Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Welcome to Cut the Sith Reading Club, Episode 4. I am your host, Colin McSorley, and today we'll be discussing the first 13 chapters of Master and Apprentice by Claudia Gray. Alex, what's up?
Okay. Well, guys, we're on to our second book, and I'm super excited about it. I'm just going to say it from off the start, this book is super different from A New Dawn. It's much richer and not putting down A New Dawn in any way, shape, or form, because I did really like that book, but this feels more like a Star Wars story. I'm going to be super brief because I'm super excited to go into this, but this is, it's going to come off at first as the classic story about,
Okay, can you wait till I introduce everyone else first?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that's what you meant. I thought that's what you meant. My bad. I apologize.
I like that Ryan finally changed his picture to be Star Wars appropriate.
It'll change back during the meeting thing.
I missed Dexter already.
See?
No one likes Dexter. That's a lie. I love Dexter. I couldn't even be serious about that. Steve?
I was going to call you out on that in about 2 seconds.
You broke very quickly on that, Colin.
Well, see, I held up the Han Solo one as long as I could, just because I knew it would upset you, but I couldn't do it with Dexter. Steve, say hi to the people.
Hey, everybody. I am Steve again. I really enjoyed this first little bit of Master and Apprentice. Claudia Gray is honestly my favorite novelist of new Star Wars canon thus far. So I'm really excited to talk a little bit about the book at this point and to hear what everybody else thinks too.
That's Alex's favorite as well.
Mm-hmm.
Sierra, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm here. It was a lot for me to absorb, a lot of characters at once, a lot of different sceneries and things like that. So I did enjoy it, and it was really different from the first book we read. Also nice because at least I knew Obi-Wan and qui-gon, so.
My guy Yona might have to leave early. I don't know. So we're going to start with him. That's why I left him for last.
Jesus. Are the Jedi just children thieves? Is that what they are in the whole Star Wars? Yeah, I enjoyed this. It was a totally different change of pace in terms of reading. I actually rewatched The Phantom Menace on Saturday just to kind of, that beginning of the first chapter where Obi-Wan screwed up the whole door, shoot the droids, but he shot the door. That felt like classic Star Wars, or it felt like the movie Star Wars series, trilogy, whatever. I had the music playing in my head, but like kind of comical, action-packed. So far, so good. I'm liking this story. It's like a good cop, bad cop kind of thing going on between Obi and qui-gon.
Okay, Alex, now you can talk. Okay, Alex, you can talk now.
All right. Sorry. I got a little overzealous, guys.
I know you want to talk about the carnies.
Yeah, as a disclaimer, I got a big hang-up about the opposition. To me, they're just a group of carnies, and I don't like carnies any way, shape, or form. No respect for them. I don't appreciate them. It's not a profession that I think should continue to exist, but that's neither here nor there yet.
If you get robbed by Cirque du Soleil, you deserve to get robbed.
Listen, you want to know what? The Carney Association can come at me. I will defend my points. With that being said, like everybody obviously feels the same. This book is a totally different change. This is a big change of pace. The last novel, A New Dawn, it was go, 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 go. Every part, there weren't so many Easter eggs or little past references or call-outs to here and there. But Master and Apprentice really does feel like a Star Wars story. Even like Sierra said, like you are introduced to a lot of people very quickly. And with someone who's read it before, everybody we've met is important. Everybody is going to play a very intricate role that will obviously be moving the plot line forward, but the foreshadowing and Easter eggs littered throughout this novel also are just to me they're beautifully put. And like was said earlier, Claudia Gray, I think she completely knocked this out of the park. This is one of my top 1-in-1 books for this new canon, and very excited to go into it with you guys.
Okay, so Real Averos is the man, right?
Who?
Real Averos.
Real Averos.
Yeah, he sounds like a badass.
He's the man.
Letting what's her name die?
Nim.
His apprentice, yeah.
Could tell Obi was not. I mean, Jin was not happy.
I'm just gonna say that was self-defense.
What?
Objectively, with the information we've been given, that's not really a lie. It seems like something dodgy is going on with this whole scenario. You know,
Colin, what did you think? Let's get your 2 cents on this.
Yeah.
My 2 cents. Obi-Wan. This is gonna sound mean because I love Obi-Wan in the prequel trilogy, and I love his relationship with Anakin. But man, is he just a whiny little Boy Scout. Like, dude.
You think so?
He's a stickler for the rules.
By the book, yeah.
Yeah.
But not really whiny. I don't know.
He's very aggressive about Qui-Gon Jinn not telling him that he got offered the spot on the council. Which, by the way, Qui-Gon,
I would too. I felt so bad.
Yeah, but he didn't accept the spot yet, though. So it's like, let him weigh his decision first before.
But imagine your master is completely different from you, and you're trying so hard just to figure him out, just to form a better relationship. Like, he's trying, and they both feel like they're failing. They both didn't tell each other that, and then you find out, oh, he's leaving, and you already felt like he wasn't connecting.
But you don't know if he's leaving yet. He might turn the council down.
And then his thoughts were valid. He said, am I going to be the first Padawan that's, given up, that they gave up, and I don't know.
Also, I didn't know Obi-Wan was taken in. It's like such an old age.
At 3.
Yeah. Like
3.
The ripe old age of 3.
I was like, wow. They're like, oh, he's like one of the oldest Padawans. I was like, all right, relax.
Qui-Gon's just like, well,
Steelers.
Rail was 5. I don't know if they're ever going to go any older than 5. And
What's Anakin, 9?
Yeah, Anakin was like 9 or so, yeah.
It's like, oh, yeah. Because Rail knew his family. It's like, oh, that's a bad thing. It's like, see, the Jedi suck. I'm just going to say it. They suck. Yeah. They are just horrible people. Like, what is so wrong with having emotional attachment to others?
I don't know. I guess.
That's why
they seem to scout the loners, right? The ones with no family.
Listen.
When Obi-Wan found out, was that like right after Qui-Gon got offered it too? Like, there wasn't that much time was passed, right?
It was like within the day or so,
Yeah.
I want to say. Yeah, like
and
not a lot of time had passed.
I guess it's Qui-Gon's fault for not mentioning it to Obi-Wan, but it's like literally like, listen, Obi-Wan, I got offered this like 3 hours ago, and that's the first time I seen you. I haven't had the chance to tell you. Like,
the Chancellor said it, not Qui-Gon.
Yeah, so
heard it from someone else.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
How did she even know?
He found out. Obi-Wan found out from someone else, but he found out within like 3 hours of it being like offered.
You think if you think it was within 3 hours?
No, it's like it was in like a day and a half at least. It was. Like,
the problem though is that he found out secondhand.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's like
Qui-Gon himself.
Qui-Gon could have just been like, listen, this was just offered to me, and we haven't had the chance to like sit down and talk yet. So like, back up a little. Instead, he was just like, oh, oopsies.
Obi-Wan, you go run off and do your own thing. I'm just going to hang out with the Chancellor and talk about birthday presents for Yoda or whatever.
Yeah. What's the Chancellor Kaj?
How did she even know? It was like 2 hours later.
Yeah.
Hey, man,
did the council tell them?
I think she was present, but I think Qui-Gon said something like, I didn't think she would be paying attention because she's retiring.
Because the council told Qui-Gon to keep it on the down low until he like made a decision.
Yeah.
And then it's like everyone already knew before he like left the room.
Yeah,
The Jedi, they can't keep
I don't know.
Council gossip, I guess.
If
Listen,
I was training to be a Jedi, I would be super pissed. And then all of his thoughts about like, oh, so you weren't going to teach me to swim? Or is that what you mean by whiny when he started feeling resentment?
Yes,
Which is
100%.
natural.
He goes, oh, you know what's a good tool for Jedi? I'll teach you how to swim. He's like, oh, were you not gonna before? It's like,
Or
listen,
the basics. He only learned the basics. You start to analyze everything in your self-worth. It's normal.
how old is Obi-Wan right now?
17, I think. The
Yeah,
book
so
it
he's
said.
way too old to be acting like this.
I don't know.
I mean,
Still not a
17.
Jedi.
teens
so-
are
He
gonna
had
be
a full
teens. They're gonna be
3-year-old
brats.
childhood. Like when I was 17, by the way, I will
Was
say
a
in
very
defense
good
of
year.
Obi-Wan,
Okay.
I knew how to swim by 17.
Fair, very fair.
And also,
He knows how to swim a little bit. I think
it
he said.
takes 5 minutes to teach someone how to swim.
Speak for yourself.
Do you not know how? I can teach you. I will. Give me 30. Give me 30 minutes.
It is pretty simple. The object is to not drown.
Yeah, I will make
That's hard.
you
I
Michael
think
Phelps.
I know the movements, but I can't stay afloat for the life of me. So
That's
there's no
fine.
point in swimming if I can't stay up.
Well,
Like,
I mean, I don't go
I
in
can't-
water that's above my belly button.
yeah. So
Fair. That's way more.
so you swim like in shallow water.
I don't swim. I stand. I stand like this.
Standing's how I swim
Swimming is
too.
so easy.
Swim is
Stop.
very easy.
Okay, let's change the subject. Okay, back to Obi-Wan.
Well, this is about Obi-Wan. He can teach
about
himself how to
swimming.
swim. I mean, I don't know how hard it is to learn how to swim like a mon calamari. Steve, did I say that right?
Calamari.
So yeah, knowing how to swim like super fast, sure, but I assume you use the force to swim.
You could probably use it to hold your breath for a
Yeah.
longer time underwater too.
But it's
He
like,
said something about I can levitate you. Isn't that what
Oh yeah, Rail said Qui-Gon. The
levitate
third
you?
person counter. I was gonna say I liked that. They've been shooting back, especially because I have a really soft spot for Dooku. But
You do?
oh yeah, man, Dooku.
Jedi Duke is awesome.
I
Before
love
Dooku
Dooku.
got painted as some sort of monster or idiot in, episode 3 and all of that, that man was a gentleman. He was a scholar.
He wore
He was
pajamas.
used to ever really use two hands
Nazi
when it came to
pajamas.
lightsaber combat, which I respect. And
Yeah. So I guess I have to just know more about him.
And
was a
Dooku like
super good character.
legitimately really cares about Qui-Gon Jinn.
How tall is this guy?
He's
Keep mentioning how
Christopher,
tall.
he's Christopher Lee. That's what popped into my mind, right? From Lord of the Rings. See,
Oh,
so
he's
Lord
gotta
of the
be at
Rings,
least,
he's
Like 6'2", 6'3", or something.
Oh, not that tall.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
Avaros is like my height, right?
yeah,
Oh,
Ross
yeah.
isn't that tall of a dude. He's just built.
Because how tall is Liam Neeson? Because I assume that's how tall
He's
Qui-Gon
like
Jinn is.
6'7".
Yeah.
I'll look this up on Wikipedia right now.
So like real Avaros could legit be like 6 feet tall and still be shorter than all of them.
Very true.
Yeah.
This isn't gonna be like when we looked up Skelly and we found out he was like ripped.
Qui-Gon
I
is
haven't looked up any characters yet.
9'3" meters.
Well, I'm afraid to look people up because the last time I did for New Dawn, stuff got spoiled for me.
Yep.
And I really just want to know what people look like.
Don't do it.
And now I want to know how tall they all are. Because I want to know if there's like a... Did anyone hear that? Someone just rev bombed outside my house.
Oh, I thought you got a bike.
I
I'm
heard
like,
that, yeah.
someone's
I'm
stealing your
getting a bike in May 2021.
Qui-Gon's
Okay.
about 6'4".
I'm getting it for
Okay,
my,
that's
my
cool.
birthday present when
Still,
I
it's
turn
all good.
31.
But I love that little first encounter with them because it's like Qui-Gon immediately goes in his head's like, all right, this fucking guy's gonna laugh at me, and then he's gonna tell Dooku that I don't know how to swim, and it's gonna be miserable. And he just completely goes the other way with it, and especially with like a character that's supposed to be like portrayed as such a roughneck and such a late arrival, and that to me it kind of seems like Qui-Gon is not like jealous or anything like that, but he is making his feelings very known that the High Council and that the Jedi, population in general kind of look the other way about his roughneck attitude, the way he dresses, how he acts. They even outright said it. It's like after Nimue, like, listen, dude, you got to go to Pajal. Like you've got to go.
Yeah.
So that will play some pretty key points. But
so about that, like, is it because he had family and he started, like, I don't understand how it justifies it, to be honest, all of the little things he got away with.
Not to put the Jedi in some awful, horrid light, but
they stink.
Yeah.
But Jedi are essentially baby nappers, especially.
Yeah, exactly.
Jonas said that at the start.
Exactly.
Yeah, they are. They do. No, especially like the core worlds and like most parts of the mid rim. It's like, yeah, they have Jedi that, to make a Game of Thrones reference, are wandering crows. They essentially go around searching out Force-sensitive babies and maybe Force-sensitive adults to get to the Force-sensitive babies, and they're like, all right. They make an assessment on where your Force level is, and if they deem it adequate, they're just going to take you. Like, yeah, sure, fine. It's considered a very big honor, but it's also like, think about it like this. Had you been 5 years old and taken away from your family or given up by your family to the Jedi, it's like, yeah, man, you're gonna have some familial connections there.
Mm-hmm.
Even at 3, like that's a risk. So I like that they brought that up about Obi-Wan. Like, he thought he was so old coming into it. It's like, yeah, Mama and Dada. See you later.
Obi-Wan didn't mature at all.
The Jedi Temple.
Hmm.
So, and it's like it seems like Qui-Gon's making it seem like, especially with the Nimue incident, that like everyone kind of just looked the other way and kind of just chalked it up to who he is. What do you guys think about, I made sure I jotted this down in my notes. I wanted to ask before I forget. What do you guys think about them consistently bringing up the prophecies, especially those of us that have watched the movies and know where, some other parts of the prophecies and this, that, and the other thing? What are you guys feeling about that aspect of this?
I really liked that angle a lot. I like how obviously it foreshadows into, his, I don't want to say obsession, but his deep fascination with the Chosen One prophecy. It's a bit of an obsession. Yeah.
I'll agree with that.
I also like that they reference that, like, it came from his tutelage under Dooku, especially after reading Dooku Jedi Lost and kind of going into, like, why Dooku became so into prophecies as well. Like, there was some nice little foreshadowing on that front, too. And I guess it's just interesting thinking about, not just Qui-Gon and Dooku, but, like, Averross, too. Like, what these 3 men kind of look for when they're studying prophecies, what their takeaways are, and how it develops them into, like, who they are today, I guess.
One of the prophecies that, is his name Averross? Is that how you pronounce it? He mentioned about someone coming into power. Was that for him or was that for Anakin? I'll find it later. Where he was basically pondering. Averross was like, "Oh, remember that prophecy?" And he's just like,
toward the end of one of the chapters, I think, right?
Okay, let me see if I can find it here.
When they were talking, and then he got, it seemed like initially he got a little pissy at Qui-Gon when Qui-Gon was like, "Oh, well, for the past couple of years, I've actually been, diving back into it."
He was mentioning something about when someone, basically, I thought it was relating to him becoming part of the council. Do you remember that?
Page 121, maybe? Is that what you're thinking of? Where
down there, yeah. I just read the joke about up the hell he should shut.
That's pretty great.
Yoda impersonations go all the time. Like, I would talk so much shit about Yoda if I was a Jedi. I can't just talk normal.
Shut up. I like Yoda.
Kind of hard not to, poke at least a little.
Oh, right here. It's on page 120. So it says, "One will ascend to the highest of the Jedi despite the foreboding of those who would serve with him." And then he pondered about it, but I feel like that prophecy matches Anakin more. No?
I thought that was about Anakin. That's how I interpreted it.
Me too. Yeah. And then and then Qui-Gon was like, "You think that prophecy refers to me?" So that was cool. I don't know, just because I know these characters, so I'm just like, oh.
There was another one on page 50 about says she who will be born to darkness will give birth to darkness.
Yeah. And I was still kind of trying to interpret that in a couple different ways.
My mind immediately went to, that sounds like Leia.
Yeah. Right? Like,
yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't think about that. Yeah.
Was born to darkness and then gave birth to the Dark Lord.
I don't know why.
Kylo Ren's.
That's what I thought when I read that. I was like, because they mentioned Alderaan not too long before that.
Good connection. Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Yeah. So these prophecies, maybe they fit, they repeat itself or something. I don't know. It's so vague sometimes, right?
Sometimes I thought at one point, bringing up Alderaan real quickly, when I thought there was going to be like a junior senator or counselor Leia name drop real quick when they were talking about the junior senator or the junior whatever it was from Alderaan at that part. At one part, Fanry's talking about it. I forget with who, but
they said a different name.
They mentioned the name of Leia's mother, yeah, Breya, or her.
Oh, Breya. It began with a B. Yeah.
Yeah, Breya. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
But yeah, I love the whole prophecy aspect of it. I think that's fun. And I was gonna say, I think Qui-Gon will immediately put that part of him, and especially now that Rail's kind of inadvertently or inadvertently planted the seed in his head. Like, oh shit! Like, not only the prophecy is true, like I'm a part of it now. I think that's gonna be a big, pushing factor for him down the line.
And I hate to bring up Game of Thrones again, but you know how prophecies affect them.
Yeah, they're not always the way you think.
That is, yeah.
The smartest guy talking about the prophecy is usually pretty wrong about a couple good key points.
Oh yeah.
So there was another one on the same page 50, that was obvious foreshadowing. It said, "When the righteous lose the light, evil once dead shall return."
Yep.
That's so vague; it could refer to anything or anyone, and then the whole chosen one nonsense. So that's pretty much setting up the third movie.
What about the prophecy in which Anakin was supposed to defeat the Sith and he didn't?
And that's when the light lost their way.
Well, hey, it wasn't about defeating the Sith. It was about bringing balance. And I'm sorry that
I meant Luke.
Were so
Luke was supposed to kill Palpatine, or Vader was supposed to kill Palpatine, and then he comes back in the 9th movie.
Okay, true. All right, yeah, even then.
There were some prophecies.
I mean, the righteous losing the light, I saw as, I know we've talked a little bit about this in past book clubs, but about the Jedi, losing focus about what is so important to them and, just not being the defenders and the guardians that they should be because they get arrogant and they let power get to their heads and they kind of think they're above all possible threats that they don't stop to consider what's right behind them.
Inviting Qui-Gon to join the council is a step in the right direction.
Absolutely.
Obviously, we know it doesn't really pan out that well for them, but it is a step in the right direction because he does not agree with the way they do things.
It's also very interesting that Yoda specifically brought up that he did not approve of Qui-Gon's
plan. I was about to mention that. He pulled the Mace Windu card.
Yeah, and honestly,
Yoda's such a dick.
Yeah, beat me by a second, dude. No, Yoda comes off in this, especially that little part where they're going through the hollows. He comes off more like a very strict, dogmatic type of, leader of the High Council. Because not for nothing, he doesn't want the guy that steps out of the fringes or calls the council out on their decisions on the council. To me, it's if you're having the "you're not with me, you're against me" mentality, which it seems like the Jedi have, to me, that mentality, you're inherently flawed. You just don't want people calling.
And I think there's some underlying bitterness because Dooku left.
Probably, yeah.
I got a question. that Steve might know the answer to, and others.
Try me.
Is it Qui-Gon Mundi or whatever his name is? Is he on the console at this time?
Yeah, at this time I don't know, but he is like easily my least favorite character.
But he also has like multiple wives, right?
No, big ass head.
He has multiple wives, right? So it's like
he does, yes, because his species is like nearing extinction or something.
That's why I want to know if he's on the console at this time too, because they don't want you to build attachments, but then they get a council member that has multiple wives.
I'm wondering if maybe, because I'm assuming that this book is going to build to the end of some big moment, Qui-Gon saying no, I'm not going to go on the council.
Yeah, because he's not
watch
on
as Kiadi takes this spot. I would get so I would get so unbelievably pissed if that's how this ended.
Yeah, like he's not on the console in Phantom Menace, is he? Qui-Gon?
No, Qui-Gon isn't. No, Qui-Adi-Mundi is.
So I assume the end of the book would be then him just saying no, because spoiler alert, he keeps Obi-Wan as his Padawan. For those that haven't seen Episode 1.
It's all right. Then we're going to just give this appointment to Ki-Adi-Mundi instead, who's probably going to be Yoda's first choice.
I mean, he also isn't staying strict to the although, because that's where it's confusing. Because you can't have emotional attachments, but it's like this dude got a million wives. Is he not?
He's not attached. If he has a million, he's not attached.
Well, he has a few, but I wouldn't say a million. But it's
I think it was more for the purpose of.
So he's just
the population of a species. Yeah.
Dude, why does he have to get married to them? Then just repopulate.
I don't know. I can't answer that question.
I know a lot of single parents. You don't need to get married to have kids.
True.
Oh, yes. Yeah,
don't look at me.
I forgot Sierra was one.
I'm signing off. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, man. Hot takes around here.
Well, until the single mother comment, which you should feel empowered about that, right?
Even,
but
I'm not sure if, Master Balaba, Kanan's master, the one that was the apprentice of Mace Windu, she was the council at some point. I'm not sure if she's a council member at this point, but she's also.
I thought they mentioned her.
Also different.
She was on the council. Yeah, she was looking at the data pad and she made a couple comments.
So they are adding people that aren't in their hive mind of you got to follow the Jedi rule set 100% like Obi-Wan wants to do. Because Balaba was, I don't know if this is explained in New Dawn or if it's explained in the Kanan comic. She's a little different. And that's why she likes Kanan, because he was a little different, and that's why she wanted him as her Padawan.
Could that have been the reason maybe why she stepped down from the council, or why she's not on the council anymore at the time? That
I'm not sure. It could be.
That would be interesting. Maybe if stepping down from the council, or if she was forced into retirement or whatever, or I don't know how the politics of all that work, but maybe if Kanan sparked her love of teaching again and maybe inspired her to take him as an apprentice and step down from the council or something. Maybe Qui-Gon could have inspired her. Who knows?
Yeah, because getting back to Master and Apprentice, it Yoda being so anti-change is just, it's weird, because I wouldn't think of him as like that until I read this, because it was what was it? He always just seemed like he was gonna do what was best for the Force,
right?
And it seems maybe easing back on your rules and going with some of Qui-Gon's ideas could be best for the Force, but the fact that he was just so against it, is he wasn't even gonna give it a chance. I was like, come on, Yoda. I would have actually assumed that to be more like Mace Windu being like, no, I don't want you.
Because I still think there's some bitterness because because he specifically told Qui-Gon to investigate what happened to Dooku on this mission. And I think there's still some.
Yoda was Dooku's master, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And even Rail, I think it's Rail who brings it up at some point, is like, oh, maybe they're just offering this to you because, as a little slight over to Dooku, in hopes that news would reach him. But it also seems a little bit too, is maybe it's bitterness, maybe it's anger, maybe it's, that alleged foresight that Yoda allegedly had, didn't use much of it. But you know, about that there's something else going on with Dooku and maybe even then Rail also brings up at some point that's like he hasn't even heard from Dooku in a while. And, you know, Rail chalks that up at one point that, you know, oh, he's the Count of Sereno, he's dealing, you know, he's a politician now, yada, yada, but us movie watchers knows what's really going on.
I know that, Alex, I'm sure you probably have already. Has anyone else here read or listened to Dooku Jedi Lost?
I have.
No.
I'm curious, though.
It's great because it's like...
Not long either.
Also, actually, we can jump to that right now. So I was talking to Steve about this. I actually sent some of you guys some messages. I was thinking in between books, we could do like a comic book or like an audio drama for like one meeting. Dooku Jedi Lost is an audio drama. It's only like 6 hours. So in between, we could actually listen to that and cover that in one meeting.
I'd be down.
In the future.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Because Dooku Jedi Lost is actually pretty great because since it's like an audio drama and not like a book, everybody's voice acted by different people.
And the production quality on this is really good too. Like there's sound effects, there's music, there's like the whole shebang. It's like you're listening to like a radio play, honestly.
Yeah, and that's what Afra is like too. We could do that in the future as well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, what were you gonna say about Jedi Lost though? I interrupted you, my man.
I lost track of what I was going to say. No, I was actually just I was curious as to like those that have read it, you know, if maybe... No, sorry, it's gone. It's all gone. Sorry.
That's my bad.
All good.
We can always come back to it.
Yes.
If I remember,
I'll let you know.
If I listened to Master and Apprentice before as well, because I know I did Dooku Jedi Lost, and I don't remember if I did Master and Apprentice because Dooku's in both of them. But I was like, I definitely did Jedi Lost. So I don't even know if I like that. No, because I like borrow these books during work, and I would like return them without listening to them. So it says I borrowed Master and Apprentice like a year ago, and I don't remember if I ever listened to it. But the
Yoda we got in this book, right? Complete 180 from Rise of the Skywalker. If we're saying like, okay, Rise of the Skywalker is now, that's it. Totally different Yoda.
Yeah, it's like this is to me, like this is like the dog, like this is exactly the type of guy who I actually thought was running the council into the Jedi Order into the ground for the most part.
Absolutely. Yeah, like it was just a perfect
it was kind
representation of Jedi hubris and arrogance and closed-minded thinking.
Yeah,
I should say.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree with you 1,000%, and especially for me because I with this one this audio book too. There's a couple voice actors that do it, and this is why I love it. It's they really honed in on it. Like the whole time, it's like obviously as a book reader, it's a little different. You can interpret it how you want, but with this version of Audible, it's like, listen, guys, he was given a pretty bitchy attitude. It's like the way it came off, it was essentially like, oh, and on top of everything else I'm saying to you right now, the fact that I just completely tore you down as a Jedi, and I want you to investigate what's going on with your old master because I can't let it go. He regardless if he's vindicated at the end of it or not, Yoda didn't do anything different in my book than any of the other leaders of the High Council did. The moment, they're sitting there waiting around talking about how they've defeated the Sith, but on the other hand of that, they're essentially just sitting around waiting for the return of the Sith as well. And, not for nothing, at the end of the day, 1-2 dudes in succession were able to bring down a massive, over a multiple millennia generational organization, or however you want to put it. For the sheer fact that they allowed themselves to sit there and consistently worry about this threat of the Sith, even though there's 2 Sith, there's I don't know the exact number. I'll just use an extreme, million Jedi. give or take, for many species, maybe even more. I don't know the exact numbers. But
And honestly, it wasn't two Sith that took them all down. It was strictly Palpatine.
Whoa.
It was
One
one
was
Sith that
pretty
took them all down.
I mean, he had some helpers, but
I mean, he orchestrated everything. Like, even his apprentices, he was just switching them in and out like they were used underwear.
fair.
Like,
Well,
even
listen,
if Anakin
Quite the
didn't
analogy.
turn, he could have just got someone else. He probably could have just went back to Maul. I mean, Maul wanted to go back to him. Maul had daddy issues with Palpatine.
would he have had the Inquisitorius in the wings at that point in time too? I feel like he probably would have at that point. I don't know.
he had to have at least some form of it. With how close this is to Episode 3. Now, granted, there's 10 plus years between it, but what do you guys think about? Now, I promise you, they're not side characters.
Oh,
Very good. Pax and Rahara, because especially Pax,
to get
I
there.
love that friggin' dude.
yeah.
At first, I thought it was cool how we had Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon, and then that duo paralleled with Pax and I forget the girl's name.
Rahara.
Rahara. Yeah, how they basically are opposites, but they work well together, and they form a good duo. So I thought that was cool.
I agree with you 1,000%, because especially their synergy is obviously, they understand how to work with one another, and they've obviously been, Pax and Rahara understand how to work with one another. They understand their feelings toward each other, especially Rahara has a very good understanding of, Pax being brought up for 15 years by 3PO droids, which
Yeah.
That explains a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like that. That's the stuff of nightmares. But like that's a deep level of hell. But
I might have missed this, but what happened to Rahara when she was a kid with Circa?
she was enslaved by them.
She was.
Yeah,
Okay.
at a very early age, and like you can tell even from like the little bits of it they go into. She, anytime Zerka's brought up, is the whole demeanor just switches and drops.
I didn't know she was enslaved though. All right.
I think there was one moment, it was like a small moment or whatever, but like where it revealed her tattoo that like a tattoo or a brand or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like a burn mark now, like a very specific type of chemical that it's just like even if you removed the chip they had on you, it's like everyone's gonna. It's like in Game of Thrones where slaves get tattooed on the face so everybody knows you're a slave. One of those kind of deals.
Okay. All right.
I got a question. So the last 2 pages of chapter 13, when they talk about the colon crystals and how is that how you pronounce them? I have no idea.
Okay,
What if they were the colon crystals?
You can call them the colon crystals. So the colon crystals,
fake
talking about, because they're fake kyber, they won't light up. But when they do light up, the time of prophecy is at hand. What do we think that means?
Oh,
I wrote that down. Yeah. And then the kyber that isn't kyber. The kyber that isn't kyber. The kyber that isn't kyber comes forth. Sorry, sometimes I can't read my writing, but yeah, the kyber that isn't kyber will usher in the time of prophecy. And I love the whole prophecy aspect. So for me, it's like, let's do it, guys. Let's get into it.
So what is time of prophecy?
I'm assuming every little piece of prophecy they're talking about is, the prophecy. I'm assuming every time they're bringing it up, it's just, excerpts from it, as opposed to just bogging us down with what I'm assuming is like a 4 or 5 page prophecy, because it's a very intricate prophecy.
Yeah.
Down to the kyber that isn't kyber.
Here's a question now that you mention it. I know earlier we mentioned the prophecy about when the righteous lose the light. darkness rises up. Could that have been a more literal meaning in reference to the crystals themselves?
Oh yeah, because you make them bleed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because to get the red Sith lightsabers, they gotta kill a Jedi, steal their lightsaber, make the crystal bleed to turn it red.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's pretty
Good old
metal.
Charles Soule.
Oh yeah.
Love Charles Soule. Oh, good book.
You and Alex need to get a room. You guys love Charles Soule.
Why?
Claudia Gray. That's all he was talking about earlier today, was how he loves Claudia Gray and Charles Soule.
They're both very talented.
And especially this one, and we'll give a shout out to Charles, his run of the Vader comics, where like they explain
may
the
read.
bleeding. Yeah, where he explains the bleeding. It's like, for me, it's like, these are the things I wanted to know about Star Wars. It's like, these were kind of the stories I wanted. I want to know about Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon Jinn, because it's like, not for nothing, Qui-Gon Jinn, especially when I was a kid and I first saw it, it was cool as shit. Liam Neeson's such a cool dude.
Yeah, he has nice hair.
Hey, he did, and especially in episode 1, he really did. And
Yeah,
it's like,
who was talking crap about Obi-Wan's Padawan hairdo?
oh,
I want to say that was Pax.
yeah. Hey,
Because that
they're
stupid braid
ridiculous.
thing's the dumbest thing.
Okay, you got a braid and then like a rat tail right there, and everything else is shit.
Who decided on that? It stinks too because it's only the humans. Like the
I think
rest
my
of the
son had that haircut.
Listen, Twilix, it's gonna be
Medical
hard to
Child
get a
Protective
Twilix there.
Services.
Hey, honestly, I mean, kind of seems like the Jedi are the system. When you talk about dumb kids, it's like, oh shit, you don't want to end up with the Jedi.
Yeah.
I want to know about all the young Padawans that are like under 5 that die in training, and the Jedi.
What do they
just,
do in
sweep
training when
under the
they're a
rug.
baby?
Well, there's this one part in Revenge of the Sith where Anakin walks into a room with his lightsaber, and the rest is history.
Yeah, but those kids deserved it.
So, going back to them being baby nappers.
Yeah.
Wasn't Luke trained as an adult? Kind of. He was already grown when he
Oh
trained.
yeah,
to
that's
be a
true.
Jedi.
Luke was like the oldest one now. I always forget about Luke.
And he's super powerful. And then Rey was already an adult when she was trained, and she's super powerful. It's a bit weird.
Going back
dicey with Rey.
to Yoda being a dick. I was talking to Steve earlier about how I was listening to a certain point of view, which has all these different Star Wars short stories, and there's one with Ghost Obi-Wan and Yoda talking. Yoda does not want to train Luke. He wants to train Leia because he says she's more stable, more prepared. He just thinks of Luke as some whiny kid.
I really liked that
Aren't
a lot.
they all?
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh, I didn't know
I
that.
can see that Yoda's pro baby. Yoda's 900 years old. He only wants to bring in babies.
Yeah, but I mean, Anakin was already 9, so he wasn't a baby, and he's super powerful. So it's kind of weird. I mean, by now Jedi should know. Wait till they're a little older, I guess. I don't know.
And if all they had to do, the Jedi, was free Anakin's mom from slavery, and then everything would have been prevented.
Yeah.
Like, no, you can't have emotional attachment, so we're gonna leave your mom as a slave.
He almost saved her. He got there and then she died. I don't know.
And like he tried to free both of them, but then like once Watto was like, "Oh no, you can only take one of them," he was like, "Okay, I'm not going to try that hard anymore."
Which also
Okay, we
makes
got the chosen one. We don't need the other one.
like Qui-Gon, you're supposed to be the maverick of the Jedi group. You're supposed to have all these cool, different ideas that's supposed to take the Jedi in a new, different direction. Maybe free the kid's mom. Like,
So when they
She
first started
married,
talking about,
though, and she had a good life. I think.
did she?
Well, she
She
got
got
murdered.
murdered by Tusken Raiders.
Until she got murdered, but she at least got. Someone bought her
so
and loved her.
on a similar topic, like it's interesting, I guess, that like Qui-Gon does that stuff to make sure that, you know, the people of Circa that have been enslaved are also given medical attention or whatever. and Obi-Wan makes that comment in his head or whatever about like Qui-Gon showing compassion and doing all this stuff. It's like, why not take more steps to actually free people though, instead of just like, you know, making it more tolerable or making it more manageable. I feel like they're just doing, the Jedi in general, not just Qui-Gon, are doing like the bare minimum in terms of, you know, politics of that nature.
They're not keepers of the peace. This is going to be a great quote right now, so write this down. They're keepers of the status quo.
Mm.
Boom. Write that
woke.
down. Yeah,
like
thank you.
Yeah, to an extent, I don't agree with you. I mean, honestly, any organization of that size, especially in the Star Wars universe, especially you know, Jedi and Force, you know, essentially to us superheroes. You know, this is a whole collective of, you know, people with superhuman strengths and abilities. It just seems to me like they're very picky and choosy of where they're throwing around their dogmatic ideas and where they decide to bend the rules. You know, if they really were on this, you know, supposed to be on this moral pedestal and be above everything else, it's like, no, it doesn't matter. And I believe it's Qui-Gon at one point that says it to Obi-Wan that, you know, just because someone's your friend, that doesn't mean they won't do wrong.
Right.
Which, you know, that ends up, especially for Obi-Wan, becoming a very important quote.
Yeah, because Obi-Wan did wrong, and Anakin was in the right the whole time.
I mean, kind of, yeah. On a subjective level, I agree with you.
Yeah, I'm Team Anakin that entire time.
But it's like, yeah, you want to know what? Any group that's playing the morality game that bends in any type of way, it's like even the first time you bend, even if every single member of the general public or non-Jedi, even if everybody, including God, you know, God himself comes down and agrees with you, the moment you bend on something, that's it. You need to get off the moral pedestal. But the Jedi never did. And it seems to me that, you know, throughout the galaxy is the Jedi are, you know, the moral leaders, or to put it into something, you know, for us regular folk, you know, it's like how the church takes a morality standpoint, especially the Roman Catholic Church.
I guess, yeah. I don't know. I mean, I feel like with an organization of the relative, you know, size and structure and influence, I would say, that the Jedi have, I feel like it would just be a really tough pill to swallow, that like you have the potential to go out and help the universe and cause and, you know, bring about real progressive solid change and really enhance and enrich the lives and the quality of life of like everybody, and you just choose not to do it. It's like, you know, complacency almost, and that's really God, I'm going to butcher this quote. It's like, you know, inaction is complacency. And it's just kind of like, you know, they're not actively striking any of these like problematic institutions down or anything like that. They're not actually enhancing the quality of life or anything like that. Like, yeah, they're not really getting any sort of financial support from Circa or whatever. But at the same time, they're not really challenging the status quo there either. It's like this really weird neutral ground, I guess. I don't know. I don't really know that I'm making a point here. I think I'm just rambling.
I got you completely.
I get it.
The Jedi, they are 100% stuck in their ways, and they do not care about the little man at all. They're a giant organization that has the power to make the galaxy a better place, but because of their Jedi code, they don't. They're 100% fine with the status quo. They're not going to try and make the world a better place. They're just going to try and make sure it doesn't get worse.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess there's the adage that like power corrupts and whatnot, and like, you know, if you try and use too much of your power to influence, you know, the way things are or whatever, like that could stand to, you know, corrupt the institution. At the same time, though, they wind up corrupt by their own lack of action and their own inability to take a real meaningful stance on a lot of issues. So,
and I'm gonna say it is strange to me that because Obi-Wan came, I mean, he was 3 years old, so he wasn't that old, but he came in older than all the Padawans, that he's the one who seems 100% like laser focused on like following the Jedi code.
He probably feels like he has more to prove.
Because I feel like he'd be more like real Averos, who's just like, yeah, whatever. Because real's cool.
Well, regardless of age, they all have different personalities. I thought it was kind of cool when they brought up, well, this one's doing this because think of it as college, like his major is astrophysics, and this one is doing this, and I'm over here reading Jedi archives. So he's basically in the library, okay? Like, not like imagine you as an intern, and just reading. I don't know.
It was a great intern.
No, I agree with you, and it also goes back to his. They bring it, which I'll just say this quickly. It will get answered as to why later on in the story, but
no spoilers, Alex.
It's not a spoiler. I didn't say anything.
Yeah, you're insinuating things.
You're damn right I'm insinuating. That's not saying anything. Mm-hmm. I studied the law. I know the difference. But Obi-Wan brings up, it's like, aside from the swimming thing, it's like, by this age, I should have been able to pick or been given by Qui-Gon my specific fighting style, not just continually doing the the basic lightsaber cadences. So yeah, it also it seems like the Jedi are very. There's an old saying that sometimes your face is too close to the mirror, and you just need to step away and back away. That way you can get the bigger picture of everything that's going on. Well, the Jedi have broken through the mirror. There's glass in the nose and the eyes, and they're on the complete opposite side of it. Like in a screwed up Alice in Wonderland world.
Yeah, they also focus a lot on themselves and just they have so much tension, so many thoughts just on like what the right thing to do is. Everything is just like, and then it's kind of weird because they talk about their instincts and how they're so fast and they know what to do. But then it's like when you hear their own monologue in their head, they're kind of, I don't know, going back and forth a lot more than you think. It's like not really natural to them. They do have to fight off these certain things, and they do always have to check their feelings, and that's a sucky way to live.
yeah, especially from a 0-year-old to an 18-year-old, or however old you are when you eventually end up going through your Jedi trials, if you want to become a knight.
You can't just control your actions. You have to also control your thoughts, and there are some, and it's.
And that's, people study their entire lives, especially for, in a real world setting with the type of world we're living in right now, controlling your own thoughts and your own emotions towards things, like, that's hard enough to do.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get a phone call at work and, we all know, you just explode.
Oh, yeah.
It's not even real anymore. It's
sometimes Sierra listens to a phone call of mine at work and she's like, oh, come on, Colin.
I cut you slack and you thank me.
Don't say that. This is going on YouTube. People may see you.
But, then you got to
the worst Padawan ever, this guy.
No. Laziest Padawan ever.
Now, just imagine if he was prepubescent and actually had, like telekinetic powers.
Yeah, you didn't start training me till I was 30.
He's too old to begin the training.
In hindsight, having seen like the movies and seeing the Jedi downfall, you read these things, like this book takes place before episode 1, and you see the Jedi's arrogance, and you see everything that leads to their downfall. Like they could have done so many things different, changed a few, lightened up a little bit on the rules, lightened up a little bit on like their person. Let people embrace emotion. Like Jesus Christ, like you have to you have to bottle up your emotion. You can't like get angry. You can't fall in love. You can't do anything a normal person in the entire universe does.
You can't grieve when people die.
Yeah, it's insane. And then it's like, dude, chill a little, take a step back, maybe see that people are different, so we shouldn't all just make them the exact same. And I think that's what Qui-Gon was trying to lead them towards. But then, as we know, he dies in episode 1. The Jedi Council doesn't really evolve or change at all, and they end up all just getting by Anakin, the man. Like they just just tired of watching. The Jedi frustrate me so much.
Stop. It's easy to criticize them, but I'm just saying.
This is the real political discussion of the night. Is let's talk about the Jedi and
I love the Jedi. No, because it's like you're watching your children make mistakes that you've made and you want to correct them, but you can't. They won't listen to you, and then it leads to their death. The Jedi are my children.
I think you compare them to like a cult.
Jedi are a cult, 100%.
I don't think that's entirely wrong.
Yeah, I feel like that's what I'm getting. You guys are all.
They are a cult because they have basically a single hive mind. It like
not until we met Rael. He's pretty cool.
Yeah, but
I feel like in Star Wars, you get those characters from friends like Han or like other people that aren't Jedis.
Outside of like Qui-gon so far, all the like cool Jedi we've met that don't have the same ideals as the Jedi, they've all kind of left the Jedi. Like Dooku and Rael both just like up and were gone.
Yeah.
And then
but Qui-gon, I just met them, so I didn't know. Well, not Dooku, but Rael.
I bet if Qui-gon didn't have Obi-Wan to care after, he'd probably leave eventually too.
Probably.
It's like they're just stuck in their ways, and it's like, all right, I either can try and make change from the inside, which is what I think Qui-Gon's doing, but eventually you get to a point where you're just like, they're not gonna, and then you leave, or you end up getting sliced in half. Is Obi-Wan his only
Padawan?
Steve?
Yeah. Up until Anakin enters the picture, yeah, I believe so. I'm not sure. I could be wrong on that, but.
So sorry, that was fun.
I just want to talk about how Obi-Wan doesn't get cool until Anakin gets cool.
I liked him in Phantom Menace, though.
I actually haven't watched Phantom Menace in so long.
I really liked how he had to step up to the plate and take down Maul on his own after Qui-Gon went down.
Maul didn't try.
That was.
Oh, speaking of that fight,
awesome.
Hold on.
Jeez.
Pretty solid, sure.
That's awesome.
Look, he's gone. Let's talk about him.
Shut up, Wombat. You're just playing Pokemon the whole time.
That's not true. You can't see what I'm doing.
I know what you do with the camera off. You sit there and you just hatch Pokemon eggs. You try and get shiny fossils.
You could check if I'm even on my Switch, and I'm not.
You probably turned the.
Hey, so real quick, can we jump back to the opposition is a traveling troop circus people?
They're Cirque du
real
Soleil.
quick. Yeah, real quick, like that's going to be, I mean, I know there's going to be some more deep cuts in this book as we go forward, but I had to reread about them a few times as I got through chapters, the first, first two chapters.
Yeah,
I didn't believe what I was reading, honestly.
Are they the big bad of this book? Because I don't know if I can deal seriously with the villains of this story being Cirque du Soleil.
I feel that it's probably going to build towards someone else being the villain. I'm half wondering if maybe Averos is going to turn on them or something.
Also, Alex told me that he goes, I have some really hot takes on these carnies. I hate them. I can't wait to go off on them. And I gave him the platform at the start of this, and all he said was, I don't like them. They're carnies.
Well, then you cut me off because I was going off. Well,
no,
right,
that was after that.
What? They're carnies. The opposition, up until you see that plasma blast, all they've done is, they're a nuisance. They've never killed anybody. There's never been, even like, they've never even made mention of, willful destruction of property or anything to that effect. Like, oh, they shot off some friggin' balloons during some event. Oh, no.
They need a cooler name like Phantom Thieves.
They're theater actors,
theater actors
and carnies. Yeah. And carnies, it's so funny too that in this book they call them, like they specifically call them the opposition.
Steve.
Did they paint things though, or like about the opposition of like the government? I kind of felt like they were like. Have you heard of the artist Banks or something?
Banksy.
There was that section about the leader of the opposition where they talked about her wearing a white dress, and that part of her whole act was she had
the cloud.
Yeah.
Cloud. Yeah, they seem like artsy folks that you go and, to the ICA and view, sit down and watch
Yeah, I
the
hope they all
act.
get killed. I would 100%
And they
hope
haven't killed anyone. So.
Yeah, no, but it's like, truthfully, it's like the way I view the opposition, it's like protests on college campuses. Like, yes,
that reminds me of
something
UMass
always
Boston.
happen, of course, but 9 times out of 10, it's just people voicing their opinion on a matter in a more grander theatrical scale when it comes to that.
That reminds me, I went to UMass Boston, and there was Occupy UMass Boston, and a bunch of kids lived in the campus center in a
I went there
tents.
too.
Yeah. Were you there during Occupy UMass Boston when they were living in the tents?
No.
They were living in
Maybe,
tents in the
I don't
campus
know.
center. It was horrible. And one of the girls that was like one of like the people in charge of Occupy UMass Boston was in a bunch of classes with me, and she knew me, and she always tried to talk to me when I was walking by my friends. I had to pretend I didn't know her. I didn't want to be associated with them.
So they sent Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan all the way over there to deal with this nuisance. Like, was it that? Is that Jedi qualified?
Yeah, they can't free.
He like denied.
They're gonna go deal with like art thieves.
No, to me, it's even worse than that. It's like they can't go out, and since they love to stand on this moral high ground, they can't go out and go on a crusade against slavery, even though it's very clear Qui-Gon has a serious effing issue with it.
Mm-hmm.
But they can sit there and make sure that the hyperspace route treaty is completely signed, and that these people move away from the Pyjalis move away from a monarchy into more of like the system they have in England, where it's a parliamentary, where it's like, yeah, you have a queen, but most day-to-day things are passed through parliament.
Or did they send him because Rael specifically asked for him, and they have a soft spot for him, and they're like, okay, you can have Qui-Gon.
Yeah, he probably was like, I need my guy Qui-Gon here. Also, going back to Rael, when Qui-Gon first came in as Dooku's apprentice, I liked how cool he was with him.
I like that a lot too.
That's the thing too. Even like just starting a new job, you start a new job, and you might be intimidated by your manager, but then like one of the guys who's been there like a year or two, one of like the newer workers there, but who's been there longer, they come up and they're like, I'll show you the ropes. Yeah, you got any questions? Ask me. You don't need to go to your manager. By the way,
yeah, he seems so cool.
Before I started working from home, I was that guy at Partners. No one would ask the team leader, their managers, anything. They'd always come and ask this guy questions.
Yeah.
That's why I made friends with everybody.
It's funny because when I ask you questions, you say, I don't know.
Yeah, and then I that's because you asked
me.
me
To give me the wrong answer.
No. I have explained this to you. You ask me on like Saturdays or like after work, and I tell you, you want the answer? You ask me between 7:30 to 6.
You never said that to
when
me.
I work. Yeah, I asked you that.
You're always like,
I'll give you the answer
I forgot.
On the clock, I'll give you the answer. And then eventually I give her the answer, and the answer's right. So.
But yeah, it was also cool that they talked about his relationship with Dooku as well. So you get a little extra tidbits about other.
Because Dooku's an intimidating guy.
He's very intense.
So Rael going up to Qui-Gon being like, dude.
He said he's stiff, right? Wait, no. Is that the right word?
He did say he was stiff.
Sound right?
I know. It doesn't, but he did say he was stiff.
Okay.
Yeah. And Rael going up to him like, listen, I've been under him a few times. I know his tendencies, and I know all the things he expects of you. So if you got any questions, just come to me, because I know he's a pretty intimidating guy. That was cool. I like that.
I like that a lot too. Yeah.
And I like that he's still kind of raggedy. He's wearing like gold robes, and it's like 10 years old or something.
It's like, this dude's a roughneck.
I really liked how they made the point of being like, well, if anyone's going to be uncorrupted by power or whatever, it's going to be this guy who still dresses like, really drab and, not great.
Basically me.
They bring that
all my clothes from like Kmart and Target.
But even then, Qui-Gon, I mean, not for nothing. It's like, you go back to get these past shots of where, like, obviously, like, he was so good to Qui-Gon. And even then, Qui-Gon, for as different as he is from the Jedi, he also, to an extent, is kind of showing why he's still with the Jedi, and, in my opinion, still pretty similar, or in some form of close synergy with, the Council, is that he's not even giving Rael really the benefit of the doubt when it comes to Nim. He's being very, you know, he makes it known, I forget in which chapter, but he outright says, you know, Rael is the type of guy that would rather take out his lightsaber and start hacking at things than follow protocol and try to do things in a very different manner.
Lightsabers are effective.
Do you guys agree? Do you think what he did was right, or?
I don't know.
I don't know that it was right. It was just what he did. I think.
I mean, would you have held him accountable?
They make it known now. They don't explain it here, but in that, I don't want this detail to be lost on anybody. Before Nim started to attack Rael, they make it very. They make sure they make it known that she was hit with a slicer dart.
Yep.
And that will come into play later on. So.
Okay.
And also the reason this is so, I said this is so much like a Star Wars story is, you know, truthfully, nothing is not even something said in passing is really a detail that should be lost on the reader. You know, almost every single little thing, even down to the way somebody is saying something, is going to come back in this book. So It's like, even with the fact that, okay, Rael, your apprentice was shot with something that we're told, even from 1 to 13, it changes them and it doesn't give them full control over themselves anymore. It's, you know, that doesn't even waver Qui-Gon's feelings on the matter. You know, I mean, like, not for nothing. We don't know how old. This girl is supposedly as old as Princess Fanry is right now. And
14, maybe?
I was going to say, maybe one of you guys remember her age. But listen, bro, I'm 28. I got some 14-year-old force sensitive. I don't care what gender it is. I don't care what sex it is. I don't care about anything. If they're force sensitive and they're charging me,
bye.
It's over. That's it. I'm going to use anything at my disposal.
It's like Walking Dead. Once they get bit, it's like, bye.
I mean,
I agreed with him.
Yeah, and like there was also the point too where it was just like, you know, lightsaber duels are very rare. I'm wondering if maybe that could have been like what set Averos off, is just the fact that like this is something the Jedi don't normally encounter outside of like friendly sparring or anything like that. Even so, I feel like there would be other ways to subdue with the Force, like, you know, other ways to immobilize someone rather than just like cutting them down.
Well,
entirely.
Mace Windu, he says he doesn't have enough time. He says that he doesn't have enough time to take her out, to save. He didn't have enough time to save her and prioritize saving the ship, to save her and the ship. So he prioritized saving the ship, and he was like, even like she would have wanted him to make that choice. Any Jedi in that situation makes that same choice because you gotta.
Would she though?
I mean, I wouldn't, but Mace Windu says she would have.
Maybe one of you guys can find it in the book, and I'm pretty sure it's at that or close to the part that Colin was just talking about. I'm pretty sure in there somewhere. I forget who it was. Maybe it was Mace Windu because he's such a battle master. But somebody talked about, you know, when two lightsabers clash, essentially it becomes more. I'm paraphrasing a lot. It becomes more muscle memory than anything. So, you know, when because they're so unused to it, and because the Jedi don't actually get it. To me, it's like shooting a gun. You know, at the range, you might be able to hit the target dead center, no miss every single time you go shoot. When someone is running at you, screaming, naked, covered in green gelatin and paint, you know, swinging butcher knives, that's very different than in a controlled aspect. I'm trying to get a point across, but
sorry, you put that picture in my head.
But, you know, like, hey, like that's some scary shit. And even, you know, some people that may go to the thing every day, you know, with those situations, I'm not a huge fan of this saying, but, you know, you don't know until you know.
I think the only reason people are giving Rael a hard time is because it was his Padawan.
Yeah.
If it wasn't his Padawan, I don't even think the Jedi Council even like have this like what was like this tribunal on him. he doesn't go to like court or anything. There's no discussion about it. It was just because it was his Padawan. But it's like, dude, she came at him, and he had to save everyone's life, and you're
Well,
putting.
yeah, but Qui-Gon said he didn't have to fight them.
Yeah, if he had just gone through the protocol.
Have to, but he just wanted to.
Listen.
So that's why.
You gotta, sometimes when someone's gonna punch you in the mouth, you gotta strike first.
No one's perfect, right? He's gotta live with that.
Mm-hmm.
No one's signing up to be his Padawan anymore, so that's okay.
Nope.
I don't think he wants one anymore. I think he's.
But then he went in, and now he's
just
watching a
grieving over her.
princess.
But I also think a good theme for all in general, for especially these beginning chapters, but just like in A New Dawn, how some of the themes are, end up being more than they are. They did focus on a few points, because I started on my notes that one, the Pai Jolly city and temple is essentially built into a mountain. From the outside, it looks like a nothing mountain range until you get a little closer and over it, and then it's this beautiful, intricate thing. And it goes even further than that, like into their clothes. On the outside, yeah, it's nice, but it's very plain. It's very one color centric. But then they bring up, on the inside lining of Princess Fanry's, whatever she was wearing, was gold.
Mm-hmm.
Beautifully, intricately woven gold. And to me, I think it's like, every especially character, and we're seeing this a lot between Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon, it's like, we're really diving in deep. We're going a little bit more past just, Pax's superficial feelings about Obi-Wan, the idiot Padawan with stupid hair. There's much more to everybody that's going on.
I wonder how long it took Qui-Gon to grow his hair out after getting that dumb Padawan haircut.
Dude, I wouldn't do it. I'm just saying. That alone, it's like, I would just be happy knowing I have Force sensitivity. I'm going to go work on it on my own.
Basically.
So I got to dip out. You guys want to continue, or you want to wrap?
We can wrap. How much longer can you stay? Because it might take a few minutes to wrap.
You can wrap. Or if you guys want to continue, don't let me keep you.
I mean, is anyone else got anything to say? You guys just want to end it?
I need to
the next point, we're reading 14 through 28, just to confirm, or 14 through 27.
14 through 25.
Okay. That's not too bad then. All right.
I was going to actually say that in the outro. But I will say I'm going to upload something in the Discord, because I am going to change the dates of a few things, because I think we should do like a one meeting thing on like a comic book or something in between this book and Thrawn's book.
I'd be game.
That way it gives people time to buy Thrawn, since Thrawn comes out September 1st. And so that will all be in the Discord, so that would be now. Anyways, as for now, that does it for another episode of Cut the Sith Reading Club. Join us in 2 weeks as we continue our discussion of Master and Apprentice by Claudia Gray with chapters 14 through 25. Make sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment below. Also, make sure to follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/cutthesith. Join our Discord. Link will be in the description. May the Force be with you always.